Okay, so welcome back to another deck profile. Yesterday I went to locals with gizmeks. Gizmeks are cards that I found in my bulk of the 2022 magazine, and I was like, damn, they have kind of a synergy, and I wanted to play them. So I went for a going first build, which didn't go so well because the only time I went 1 in 2 yesterday, so I only won one, but that was with going first, and I never won going first. I only won going second, so that was pretty fun. So yeah, let's go into the deck profile. We start. This is a ratio that I played. I think it was funny, but today when I'm done with work, I will going to make a go second build and go to play today. So let's get into the deck profile. As first we have Gizmek Inaba. Gizmek Inaba is it's a 3-off in my opinion, because if this card is normal summoned, you can special summon a monster that has the same attack and defense from your hand. Which in this video I will say Gizmek. Every time I say you can special summon a Gizmek monster or special summon Gizmek, that means attack and defense. Because every time to say attack and defense, it takes a long time, and just to say gizmek, it's way easy. Because they all say attack and defense has to be the same. And when this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card to make it so to target one machine monster you control with the same attack and defense. It gains attack and defense equal to all the machine monsters on the field, and only he can attack. So this is like the OTK central when you get banished. The next I put 3 off, but you can maybe put us to 2. Is our friend the Gizmek Maganaki. This is also your kind of a normal summon, but you mostly want to special summon this card with all the other cards that can special summon. What this card says is when this card is on the field, you can tribute summon a Gizmek monster, and then you can special summon a Gizmek monster with the same of course. The attack and defense has to be the same, with a lower level. So if you have Gizmek Orochi, you can tribute this to special summon one of your other cards, and when this card is special summoned, you can discard, and I will show you the place later. And when this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card to shuffle one of your face down banished cards back into the hand. Yes, add to your hand. That's very, very cool. I was reading it for a second. The next one is a Gizmek Tinaku. This is pretty much a bad card to see in your opening hand, because the only thing he does is when this card is special summoned, you can put a Gizmek card on top of your deck. That's it. But when this is in the graveyard, you can banish this card, target a card in your graveyard, and special summon it in defense position. So this is like your extender. It's so crazy. I really love it. Then an extra card is Gizmek Arakami. Gizmek Arakami. This card is a special summon from hand when you control a monster that has the same attack and defense, of course. And when this card is in your graveyard, you can banish it. And when this card is banished, you can make it so you can send a card that has the same attack and defense, of course, from your deck to the graveyard. So you can send Gizmek Orochi and you can play with that card. So that's very crazy. I love this card so much. I think this card as 3 is so mandatory. But now we go into the more difficult cards, because now we're going to the level 5 and 6 cards, which are pretty oof in my opinion. So this is Gizmek Aku. Gizmek Aku can special summon itself when a monster is special summoned from the deck. And then every time if this card is on the field, every time your opponent special summons a monster, they take 300 damage if it's normal or special. And this second effect is if this card is normal or special summoned, you can target one face up monster your opponent controls, and then you can special summon from your deck a monster that has the same attack and defense, but with the same attribute of the monster that you target. So that's pretty hard, but it's not impossible, because you play water, you play dark, you play earth, you play wind, you play fire, because all the gizmeks have a different attribute. You have them all at first. So it's not impossible. But I don't really like this card to see in my hand that much. The only time I like to see it if I have this little fella, because this is a free disc, this is a free target to special more. I don't really know what I wanted to do with this card. If I'm going second, I think a one-off is just great. The next gizmek is gizmek Makami. This is my favorite card. This card you can normal summon this card if you have 6 cards banished. And when this card is normal or special summoned, you can discard a monster to target to special summon a monster from your deck. In defense position, by the way. In defense. That's this card is also special summoned in defense, by the way. The toad looking careful. So you can't have them in attack position. I really like this card. I think this is one of the strongest cards. But the thing you have to do is, of course, you have to banish cards, and that's hard. And when this card is destroyed, well, in the monster zone, you can target one of your 6 face down banished and put them back into your deck. So that's pretty decent. I like it. I think this is a very strong card. Maybe you can put it at 2 because 3 is a little bit too much, but I think it's a very strong card. This is the strongest, and I hate this card. It's dark, but gizmek Orochi. This card is so overpowered. It's just a banish 8 and special summon. It's so crazy. This card is so good. You can dump it, special summon it, go into combos. You can get it to your hand, special summon if you, and when you have banished 8, you can normal summon this card, activate effect. I really love it. This card is very. And the second effect of this card is you can banish 3 cards from your extra deck and target a face-up monster they control and destroy it. But you can only activate one of these effects in a time. So keep that in mind. Also, this is a quick effect, so you can use it on your opponent's turn to special summon this card. But it's a dark. So everybody will probably play a Bestial on it. So that's very sad, but it is what it is. But this card is so strong. Gizmek Orochi. A one-off I have in this deck is a Gizmek Kaku. Gizmek Kaku is, I think it's a pretty cool card. It's pretty funny. This card can special summon itself when there is a monster in the extra monster zone. So it can be a link, it can be anything that is summoned there. And when this card is special summoned, you can take that monster that is in the extra monster zone and equip it to this card. When that monster is equipped and this card destroys an opponent's monster per battle, you can special summon the equipped monster. So it's such a crazy out to things like, how do you call it? Oh, I don't know how it's called. Ecomex. This is a crazy card against Ecomex. It's a crazy card against there's that machine monster for 4000. It's a crazy card against Ignisters. I really like this. You can summon it out very easily in this deck. So one of it's amazing. You never really actually see this card, but you just keep it in, as an out for all those other cards. The next one is Gizmek Okami. Gizmek Okami is also a very cool card and a very good going second card, because when there are 2 monsters special summoned from the extra deck on the field, you can special summon this card. When this card is on the field, you can pay 1500 life points to destroy every face up or every special summoned monster from the extra. So that's very strong. And then when this card is, I think it's only tributed, right? Yeah. If this card is sent to the graveyard because of an opponent's card effect, you can banish one of their cards in the graveyard. So that's so crazy, dude. This card is very cool. And I think that when I'm going to build a going second build, I'm gonna bump this up to 2, because you want to see it and because it's always instruction. These were all the Gizmek cards. And if you saw, all the Gizmek are water, fire, dark, wind, earth, light, and the wind again. So you have all the different attributes, so that's pretty cool. Next up we have 2 Nibiru, because nobody plays a ground Nibiru. And when you are going second because you lost a die roll, you still have hopefully a chance to have Nibiru. And even then, Nibiru is just a crazy card because nobody is playing around. Nibiru is a good one. Up next are the spells. So we play 2 Pot of Desires. Pot of Desires, banish 10, draw 2. You only use it actually for the banish effect. The draw 2 is also as extra. Because keep in mind, when you banish, use the effect of Pot of Desires, you always draw into another Pot of Desires. That's just how it is. That's just the rule. That's just fact. Next up is 1 Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial send the monsters from your deck to the graveyard. So you can send a lot of monsters. You can send Erochi. You can send this card to send an Erochi to have more monsters in your graveyard. You can send the Toad to special summon if you have enough in your graveyard. You can send this one, but you don't really want this, and you don't really want to send this one, but only if you already have an established board. So it's more for extenders needed. So Foolish Burial is a great card. Next up is the Field spell of the gizmek. This is a very cool extender. I don't know if I want to keep this at, if I want to bump it up to 3, or I want to keep it at just 1. What this Field spell does is, every time a monster that has the same attack and defense is special summoned, this gets a counter. At 10 counters, and this is the crazy part, it becomes a Mystic Mine. Because nobody can activate monster effects when this card has 10 counters on it that are not that don't have the same attack and defense. So this card is so crazy if you can pull it off, but it is very hard to pull it off. The other effect of this card is when you activate this effect, you can banish. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck, and add a gizmek from your that are excavated to your hand, and banish the other cards. So the banish effect is pretty bad, but it's not that bad because you kind of play around banished cards, of course. Yeah, it's a very great extender. It's just another gizmek in hand, and you can hopefully, when you excavate, you can pick a gizmek that you don't really. A card that I play is Super Polymerization. I play Super Polymerization as my last 2 spell cards, just because I needed some extra deck stuff, because I made this deck very fast, and I just threw in some extra Super Polymerization targets. I think Super Poly is a very good card, but I really want to play more with Link cards instead of Super Poly. But it's an amazing board break for going second or going first, to stop your opponent in his tracks. Now we're going for the Floodgates, because I went for a going first Floodgate build, because I wanted to look, and because this card that I'm going to show you is amazing, okay? And the band Play On. I love this card in gizmeks so freaking much, because nobody, a 90 player can have the same amount, cannot have more than 1 monster of the same level or rating. So you can only have 1 level 2, 1 level 3, 1 level 4, 1 level 5, and nothing more. And because all the gizmeks are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc., you can play this card. And I just thought it was so funny. It didn't really do much. I got Lightning Stormed a bunch. Never going for this again. But I maybe will put this in the side deck just for funnies. Because I'm gonna make going second build, and then when they say you go first, you can outplay them. We play the side lock because I was going for Floodgates. It's just a side lock. When you activate this card, you can special summon this card from your deck, and when this card is special summoned in your opponent's turn, they can special summon from the action. So yeah, sure, that's it, nothing more. We play 2-dimensional barriers because people cannot summon and do anything, so I call it amazing, okay? Yeah, and because we play Floodgates, we also play 2 Traptrick, because Traptrick searches dimensional barrier for your Sanctum, so that sounds amazing. You can also Traptrick, if they, for instance, if they use a back row removal and they have cards on the field, you can Traptrick to set a Sanctum, and because when this card is destroyed, you can destroy another card on the field. So it's just something extra. So this was my 40 card deck list. I will probably going to build a going second build for today at today's locals. So I will let you guys know how that went. But let's go into the extra deck monsters. because this is where I'm going to also get into more spice for today. So we play one Lingerie. Lingerie you cannot really summon, but they at my locals they Ibly lock you, which you can get rid of the Ibly with this card, and then you can just play around with more cards. It's just something extra, of course. Next to that we have one Almirage. You can normal summon your gizmek, and then you can go into Almirage if you needed to, because we play access code, so you have another attribute. It's just something extra you can use to get your. Also, this gets your gizmeks into the graveyard, and you want your gizmeks into the graveyard. The strongest card is Relinquish Anima, and I'm going to run some kaijus. Because you can, when you normal summon your level 1 gizmek, you can go into Anima and steal something if needed. If needed be. Because I was going first, I wanted to play IP Masquerena. It's a good follow-up. You can make some very strong cards with this deck. With this card, and it's indestructible. You can go into your unicorn or something else, pop a card from the field or spin it back. Yes, I thought it was a great thing, but it only got negated. It got kaiju, it got lava golems. Well, sad for me. I played one Pit Knight early. It just only takes 2 monsters, and it's just a monster negate on the field. It's a cheap card for a man negation, but it's still something, and I think it's amazing. What this effect does is when a card this card points to activate its effect, you can negate a monster on your opponent's side of the field. So most of the times you will have it like this. So for you it will be like this. So it always points to IP Masquerena, so your IP Masquerena effect, and unchaining to Pit Knight early. We play Nightmare Cerberus. It's just a pop a card on the field. We played Nightmare Unicorn because it's spin attack card on the field. And we also play this card because of Access Code Talker. It gains a lot. We play one Blackluster Soldier and Void of the Beginning. You can summon this card. Because for instance, if you have Gizmek, you always play so that you have a Gizmek Orochi in your graveyard. So when you have this display, you can special summon Gizmek Orochi and then IP Masquerena. So most of the time you can IP Masquerena, Pit Knight early, chain 3 Gizmek, Gizmek special summon, you can special summon it here maybe. Then Pit Knight early can negate, and then this one can go into Blackluster Soldier and for the beginning, and this card is protected by destruction effects because of this. Well, it's always protected, but you can make this card, and it can attack twice, it can break boards. Yeah, so it's not that bad. We play one Borolo Dragon. I love this card. It's just Kashtira is a thing, so when they banish your access code, you still have a other card you can kill. And access code is very expensive. I just bought one because somebody was selling gold rares, and as you can see, maybe I like the gold rare cards. Okay. So what this card does is it can attack you. It cannot be destroyed by battle, and it can attack your opponent's monster. But when it attacks, it can steal the half of the attack of the monster. Then it can also set a monster to defense, and when it does, it can attack twice this turn. So that's very good. And as last link monster, we have Access Code Talker. It's an OTK. When you go second, you can just pump right through everything. The Access Code is an amazing card. Then we just have some super poly targets. We have 5 super poly targets. I only summoned Garura and one Mud Dragon at a time. That's it. These are just amazing super poly targets. After the super poly targets, we also play Starving Venom for the 2 darks. I also could have summoned this one. Oh no, I could. We also play Dragon's Tepelia, free negation, and we also play the Predaplant Trifouilletum. Okay, I still don't know how to pronounce it, but it's just a super poly target. That's it. So this was the deck profile. I hope you enjoyed. I really had fun playing this gizmek deck. It was so cool. I will still play around a little bit around the ratios, but I have to go back to work because it's time. Thank you all for watching, and I wish you all a very nice day. Thank you very much.